Hi students, welcome to another Mr. Ness screencast. Today's aim is Islands of Development, and here are your objectives. Please pause the video, look these questions over, and get ready to copy some vocab terms and take some notes. In the last video, you learned about Rostow's model of development and the different things that it encourages developing countries to do in order to increase their development. Today, we're going to focus on three of those things: tariff-free trade, foreign investment, and focus on comparative advantage. Let's start by looking at foreign investment more closely. Foreign direct investment, or FDI, means ownership of a company in one country by a company located in another country. In other words, a business that is based in one country, usually an MDC, is investing money in another country, usually an LDC, to open a factory or a retail store or a warehouse in that country. This means that foreign money is flowing into the LDC, which Rostow says is a key to its development. The foreign business that invests the money is called a transnational corporation, or TNC, a company that does business in several countries. For example, Nike is a transnational corporation because it is based in the US, but it has factories and retail stores in countries all over the world. If Nike opened a shoe factory in Vietnam or a shoe store in China, that would be an example of foreign direct investment. When transnational corporations open factories in other countries, they usually do so in special areas of that country that are called islands of development. Before I tell you what an island of development is, notice that, like Rostow's model, there are several different names for this idea. I have seen all of these names appear on the AP exam, and you should be familiar with all of them. In Mexico, islands of development have a special name, maquiladora. Maquiladora. In other parts of the world, islands of development might be called special economic zones, or SEZs, or they can be called export processing zones, or EPZs. This last term, export processing zone, is a good reminder that the products that are made in these areas are always for export. They are shipped to MDCs. Take a moment and review these four names that all describe the same thing. So what all of these terms mean is a special part of a country that is built up by the government in order to attract foreign direct investment. Let's look at some characteristics of these special areas. First, islands of development have lots of industrial jobs because they're areas where many transnational corporations have their factories. They're industrial zones with lots of factories near each other. These jobs pay low wages, which is one reason why transnational corporations like to move production to those areas. Islands of development are usually located in LDCs whose cheap labor gives them a comparative advantage in manufacturing. Second, compared to the rest of the country, an island of development has much more infrastructure. That means that there are more roads, more highways, or more ports, and services like electricity, running water, or trash collection are usually better than in other parts of the country. In other words, the land within the island of development has good infrastructure, while outside the island of development, roads might be made of dirt, or electricity, running water, or trash collection might be non-existent. That's why these areas are called islands. They are zones of development surrounded by mostly undeveloped land. The point of this development is to attract companies who want good infrastructure in order to make and ship their products easily. Finally, businesses within these zones pay little to no taxes, and goods that are produced in the zone are not subject to tariffs. And that's another way that the government attracts foreign investment, by promising transnational corporations that they won't have to pay any taxes and that they can make their goods cheaply. Since the goods made in the island of development are usually for export to MDCs, transnational corporations like that they don't have to pay tariffs on those exported goods. Outside the island of development, businesses are subject to normal taxes and tariffs, but inside of it, they are not. In 1994, three countries in North America, the US, Canada, and Mexico, made a deal called NAFTA, the North American Free Trade Agreement. According to NAFTA, businesses could ship products between any of these three countries without paying any tariffs. NAFTA is an economic supranational state, sort of like the EU. But there are some major differences. First of all, unlike the EU, NAFTA did not create a shared currency. Mexico, the US, and Canada all have different currencies. And more importantly, NAFTA does not create open borders or allow the free movement of people. In the EU, workers from one member state are free to work and live in any other. But under NAFTA, workers from Mexico cannot move to the US. You'll learn more about NAFTA in class. And now it's time to review the objectives. If you don't know the answer to them, just rewind the video and look again. And I will see you in class. Bye, students.